We're here in Chicago at the World Money Show, and I'm with William Strauss. And William, where are we going to be in 2015?
It's a great question, Greg, because just a couple of weeks ago, the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, came out with their projections for economic growth, unemployment rates, and inflation rates all the way through the next 3 years. And what they see this year for 2012 is growth that is going to be somewhat below trend. Next year, a little bit above trend, and improving beyond that. By 2014, 2015, growth that should be just somewhat above 3%. Better performance for the economy, but still not the kind of growth that is going to materially bring down the unemployment rate very rapidly. In fact, the expectation for the unemployment rate is for it to remain above 8% through the end of this year. But with growth just slightly above trend for next year, unemployment rates are expected just to edge lower, to remain still just slightly below 8%. But with growth accelerating in 2014 and 2015, unemployment rates are expected to come down so that by the end of 2015, we'll be just above 6%. That is still above what we think of as the natural rate, the long-term rate. So imbalances, even 3 years from now in the labor market, remain, although they will be significantly reduced from where we are today.
But is this something that mature markets are going to go through? Because in most of Europe, to a certain extent, you have unemployment rates that are pretty high. Obviously, in the South, they're much higher than they are in the Northern European countries. But you know, 6% isn't outrageous in, say, developed Europe.
Well,
and you know, and if you're growing at 3%,
yeah, but we're not Europe. And a lot of the differences among economies are really on how they are structured with regard to their workforce. And you know, so you can get these differentials across economies. And in the U.S., historically, our natural rate has been something around 5 to 5.25%. It's thought now that it's probably natural rate is closer to 5.5 to 6% because of all the structural shocks and changes that we're going through that will take us time to work ourselves out. But we're not Europe. We're not happy with an unemployment rate that is a European style. And in fact, many countries in Europe have been trying to emulate the labor markets like the United States to try to bring down the unemployment rates. I think our model should be the goal rather than us trying to become more like Europe.
Sure. And I have heard that during the Depression and the recovery from there, and you look at our recovery as it goes on, and we're talking another 3 years on top of the 4 years that we've already had. So that's almost a decade of people that, a large swath of people that have been out of the workforce. And it's almost like a lost generation of worker at that point.
And these are certainly some of the risks and reasons why we think structural unemployment has moved higher. You know, we have, during the downturn, 8.7 million people lost their jobs. And, you know, it's true, we have added jobs to the economy, and, you know, on the neighborhood of nearly 5 million total jobs have been added. The problem is that the metric should not be that we've added a job. And we should celebrate that. Last I checked, we have labor force growth. We have population growth, roughly around 1% in the United States, which, according to our estimates at the Chicago Fed, which is actually a little on the conservative side compared to other individuals who suggest what we need to be creating, it's around 100,000 jobs a month. That's 1.2 to 1.3 million a year that we need to be creating just to absorb all the new entrants into the labor force, into the workforce. We did 1.8 million over the past year, so that's better, but by about 500,000. Well, at that kind of a pace, it'll only take us about 16 years to get back all of those people who lost their jobs. And you're smiling and laughing because you, like me, agree that's not a satisfactory path to be going down. And what that winds up doing is it causes a lot of imbalances. The unemployment rate among the young is significantly high. The question and concerns come in: are they going to be disenfranchised from the labor market? Will you be able to bring them back in when conditions begin to improve?
Right.
And I think there's justifiable reasons to be worried about that.
Yeah, and I certainly don't want my kids moving home with me either. Well, thank you very much.
Very good, thank you.
And thank you for watching the MoneyShow.com video network.